This is a video guide for Protoss changes in Heart of the Swarm. First major change is we're going to talk about some of the new units. First, you get the Mothership Core. This is built at the Nexus. It's only 100 minerals and 100 Vestment, and it only requires a cybernetics core. It's kind of a big gas investment for early in the game, but it's a really powerful flying unit. It has decent move speed, solid ground attack. Most importantly, though, are its three abilities. Photon Overcharge. There's a video linking to the Mothership Core that shows all these abilities. Photon Overcharge lets you power up one of your own Nexus to become a very long-ranged photon cannon. And in particular, it has a range of 13, the same as the Siege Tank. Good attack speed, solid damage, and you have to wait 60 seconds to actually kill the Nexus. So this ability alone, especially if you take a quick expansion, Photon Overcharge can protect this expansion like very easily without any other support. Mass Recall will warp the Mothership Core back to, and all the units near it, back to a Nexus. So let's say you're here and you want to go home. I don't know why you'd want to make such a short jump, but you click on the Nexus on the mini-map and your units warp in. Slight delay before they appear. Just one last ability, it's Time Warp. Puts a pretty large size bubble on the ground that units going through go really slowly, and that ability in particular, it's really good when used with Sonic Storm. In the Mothership video linked below in the description, I'm going to actually show you that so you can see how the combination works. So I'll wait for the Mothership Core to get more energy. We'll talk about the Tempest. Tempest is a large flyer, requires fleet beacon, 4 supplies. I think it's 300 and 250. Yeah, 300 minerals, 200 gas. And got another video showing this in action, but you can see this is an incredible range on this unit. It's the longest ranged weapon in the game. So what happens is their damage by themselves is not that good, except versus massive air units like battlecruisers. But instead, what makes them so good is that once you get a lot of them in one spot, it's hard for the computer. You can see they're good versus Colossus, but it's hard for the computer or another player to get to a point where they can attack them. It's like by the time the computer gets in range, you should have really softened up the army with just a couple blasts from this long-range attack. It's like having a flying siege tank that never has to go into siege mode. They can always move, and with more range. It's like I'm not sure if they'll actually go live like this. I think they're a little too good. Alright, so now that we've got some energy on the Mothership Core, I'll show you what Time Warp's all about. So Time Warp throws a bubble up like that. Now it doesn't affect my friendly units, but they move at about half speed, kind of like this if they were crawling through. And that just gives you time to use Sonic Storm or whatever. Oh, it's a disappointment, but okay, so we got those two new units. Actually, that's all three of the new units. I think the Oracle's around here somewhere. Not sure what I do with it. It might have gotten attacked. I'll build an Oracle because it's the one I'm missing. And in the meantime, I'll just talk about one upgrade change. There's no Oracle. There's one upgrade change, though, and that's this addition of this upgrade that increases the range of the Phoenix. This is actually pretty good, and what I've found is that this upgrade is really good if the Terran player you're playing against is being really obnoxious about using... Oh, here we can use Time Warp. There you can see everything moving through is going quite slow. You can even use the... if I had the energy, this would be a good opportunity for Photon Overcharge. Okay, so here's the Oracle. When you push the activate the button, it does some decent amount of damage. It's like a casting unit. Works pretty good. Energy doesn't last forever, though, and with no energy, no attack. And there's more details on that in the bottom. But the Oracle can also basically spy on a target for 60 seconds with the Revelation ability, and it can become a detector for 30 seconds. So, with just a little bit of energy. So it's a good unit to have. It basically lets you get detection, too, if you're going an early air. Alright, so we just jumped ahead in this video a little bit. A couple things I wanted to go over. In addition to all the new units, there's just some changes. As mentioned earlier, the Mothership Core is now builds into the mothership itself. Like, it doesn't actually take up Nexus production or anything. It just builds wherever you want it to. So don't do it in the middle of the map, though, because this structure is very vulnerable. Doesn't have much health compared to a regular mothership. But in addition, there's also a Phoenix upgrade that increases their range by 2. So while this stuff is building and researching, that's quite an expensive upgrade, if you notice. I mean, it's good, but you have to be making heavy use of Phoenixes to want to drop 300 resources in over 90 seconds. While those are working, I'm going to show you the new Void Ray. Now it no longer charges up, and instead it has this ability with no energy. It just turns on for 20 seconds, and it boosts their damage versus armored units. So, but buildings count as armored, by the way. Anything like that's not Marines. Yeah, well, would have been nice to defend there. But I'm just going to go and attack just a computer game. Okay, now while that's going on, we'll show you the new Phoenix range. I'll let them attack until they're ready. Okay, so we're going to see how this Phoenix does with this extra range. And Mutalics just can't stand up to it, because even when they're faster, the extra range is just ridiculous. So it's definitely a nice unit to have. Phoenix are still weak, you know, versus the heavier units, though, so that's definitely something you got to keep in mind. Alright, so that's the extra Phoenix range. Glad we got that. I got attacked, so I can show you that. Meanwhile, let's go down to the Void Rays. So you're attacking something, you just push the E button, and suddenly your damage goes way up. And it lasts through this, you know, the amount of time shown in this bar. So you can actually come in and really burst down buildings too with this strategy. That being said, though, this is not that much faster than, you know, the speed at which maybe like the Oracle kills a building. Just wanted to show you how it works, and then some cooldown, but it's kind of nice for air harass, or like right when you engage, you know, enemy, if you're using a death ball kind of army. You can pop your thing. If you see that, you can run. Void Rays are kind of slow if you have faster air units. So one thing that kind of sucks about the Phoenix range is that you don't seem to get anything. You don't seem to get any extra range on Graviton Beam. Maybe they'll fix that, because right now it's kind of dumb. But I mean, it's still nice for Mutalisks, but it definitely limits the applications. So you can see they took away Vortex from the mothership and instead put Time Warp on it. You know, obviously Vortex is probably nothing's going to be as good as that could be when used properly, but as I showed earlier, as I show in the Oracle video, which will be linked in the description, throwing up this Time Warp bubble and then having the enemy units in here, then kind of putting like 3 Psionic Storms down to cover this whole sphere, it's really a deadly combination. I mean, it's kind of like, it's not quite as effective as like the old Archon and Tulip goal, but honestly, it's pretty devastating if the person's army is clumped up enough for you to do it. But that's it for all the Protoss changes. Hope this video helped. And if there's more, I'll update it before the game comes out. Like if something is different that's in this video, that's, you know, I'll just do the whole thing over.